All right, welcome to this week's Points and Miles report here on Traveling on Everyday Spend. Got a lot to go over. Obviously, the headlines that I had on the thumbnail was related to the monthly offers from Lufthansa as well as the Flying Blue. But we got to talk about Hyatt. We got couple things to talk about. American Airlines. Need to talk about Cathay Pacific. And then, of course, the hotels. We got a lot to go over. And so I'm glad you're here with me to discuss these items. So why don't we just jump right on in and get started? So we'll start with the credit card offers, and we do have some interesting ones that have kind of popped up, and then some ones that are going to be ending. So we first have the Marriott Bonvoy, Bevy and Brilliant with American Express. By this time next week, it'll be over. These are historic numbers to look at. If you're interested in Marriott, I did do a review on all of the personal credit cards and to talk about obviously being able to get to one mystery card, as most of us already know about, and so that you can know how you want to move around this pathway. We still have the Alaska Airline credit cards that are for Bank of America that are still out there with the same higher intro bonuses with the companion fares. So we don't have an end date on those, but that's got to be pretty soon. Air France KLM, the Mastercard, once again, that's another one where that time's probably coming up pretty soon. And if you're interested in it, that you'll be able to get silver status with just getting the card and getting those experience points. So that may be something that you might want to look at. And then for Capital One, for the Venture Rewards card, we do have a date of when that is supposed to end, and that is going to be May 12th. So if you're still considering the Venture Rewards card, and if it's right for you, that's your deadline. I did do a review on the Venture as well as the Venture One cards. I'll have links for that in the description for you to be able to look at. And then Qatar, we have both the Visa Signature and the Visa Infinite. Those are going to run out on June 16th, so you have plenty of time regarding it. They're both two-part welcome bonuses. From when just a first transaction to what happens in that first 90 days. So make sure to take a look at those. Obviously, the key for the Airways Visa Infinite is that for that first year, you're going to have gold status with Qatar, which gets you enough status with One World that'll be able to get you business lounge access. And then for Chase, we now also, at least I've seen a date and time, actually. I think this was Points Guy who had it. That we're looking at May 15th at 9 a.m. is the date and time that I saw for the Sapphire Preferred. So if you have interest in that, time is a ticking. So make sure to fully flesh out if you are interested in it and if you can get it. Chase Aeroplan is a new elevated bonus at 70,000 points after $30,000 worth of spend in the first 3 months. For Chase, we also have the Avios cards, Aer Lingus, British Airways, and Iberia, but we've got two things to talk about. One is on the Chase website, you'll see that there is 85,000 Avios for $5,000 worth of spend in the first 3 months. There is another offer that is out there also, and it is for 100,000 Avios for $7,500 worth of spend in the first 6 months. I'll have a link for that in the description if you're interested in going for the longer one. I'm leaning more towards the 85,000 Avios, getting an additional 15,000 Avios for another $2,500 worth of spend. Not necessarily my favorite, but the point is you have options and to pick the best one for you. And then we still have the Disney Visa cards. We know that there was going to end soon, but we don't have a date. United decided that they were not going to end their promotion, but they were going to change it. So as of May 7th, this morning, the very high elevated offers on all of the United credit cards ended. But what they did is they stopped doing the business cards, but the personal cards have a elevated offer. So I'll run through those real quick for you because they do have some different dates. So the United Gateway, which is the no annual fee credit card, has the same intro offer of 30,000 points for $1,000 worth of spend on that card. So nothing has changed, even with the elevated offer. The United Explorer is at 60,000 points. We did have it at 80,000 points originally that ended. This 60,000 point elevated points runs through July 16th. The United Quest card has 70,000 points and 500 PQPs. When it was at the debut offer, it was 90,000 miles and 500 PQP. That one runs through June 22nd. Then the United Club actually kept the same opening bonus that we had just last week, 95,000 points after $5,000 worth of spend in the first 3 months. That's going to run through July 16th. So we see July 16th applying to the Gateway, Explorer, the Club, but the Quest ends on the 22nd. So be aware of those dates for what you're looking at. Then we have the Marriott Bonvoy Boundless, of course, with the 3 free nights, plus the 50,000 points. The Hyatt Business Card, you can get Explorer status with just getting the welcome bonus, and that'll run you through February 28th or 26th. And that's going to be for ending on June 30th of 2025. And then the City Business Advantage was a newer one, 75,000 miles for $5,000 worth of spend in the first 5 months. No $99 annual fee, but it is waived in year 1. For the Barclays one, I'm just going to touch on a couple of them. We still have the Wyndham cards, which I don't know. I'm shocked that that still is out there, as well as the JetBlue Plus card. The Hawaiian Airlines card, though, I'll start with. That one probably still has the promo code that is still working. It's not a code of mine. It's just someone I came across to try to see about getting you all the best offer you can. 70,000 points for $1,000 worth of spend in the first 90 days. That's compared to ones that you may see with 60,000 and 2,000. But the promo code that I hope will still work is 002387. We also have the Aviator Red card from Barclays, 70,000 miles just on, you can get that with just your very first purchase and paying the annual fee in the first 90 days. That's an offer that's out there. Once again, not mine, but one I definitely came across. Obviously, as we know, Barclays is going to no longer do any of the American Airlines credit cards as of the end of this year. And I don't expect that we're going to see Citi be doing these kind of promotions where welcome bonus based on the first purchase. So if you're interested in the Aviator Red, time is a ticking, so you may want to look at that one as well. And so those are the things that we've got as far as the credit card bonuses. I want to make sure to say hi to Vincent. Appreciate you stopping in, sir. Always great to see you. Adam, thank you for stopping in. Chad, Money Minutes, how are you doing, sir? Appreciate you stopping in. Actually just watched Chad's perspectives in regards to all talk regarding the value per point, value. And we've talked about that on here, that we make sure to use it as a baseline. It does matter. He's exactly right. The most important thing is you just need to be educated and know if you're getting a good deal or not as far as how you utilize them. And if you choose to not get the best deal for whatever circumstances, then at least you were educated and you made the right decision for your situation. So I thought it was an excellent perspective. Appreciate him putting that out. Let's talk about the transfer bonuses. As far as the transfer bonuses, Qantas with Capital One for 20% through June 1st. Chase has Virgin Atlantic at 25%, as well as Air France KLM at 25%. We'll definitely want to keep the Air France KLM percentage in mind as we talk about the promos that are going on for this month. And then Citi, Virgin Atlantic, and Qatar at 30% for this month. Now, as far as the points and miles opportunities, as we all know, there's always a bunch of these, but I'm only going to touch on the ones that are new or they're going to be ending soon, just so that you don't miss out on those. So let's talk about if you're out in the area of Greece, Aegean and Olympic Air, 2-time bonus points. If you were paying with points and staying, every pay and point stay through May 11th was an option to be able to get for those flights. We also have the Best Western. Every pay with is out there. Let me skip that actually, and we will move to. We're in the middle of the Hyatt for the 777 bonus points per night at the casino hotels. Registration's required. That runs through June 9th. So you can still have a shot at being able to do that. That's definitely not passed us by. And then we would look at IHG still has the 15% discount on award stays at new properties. There is no registrations required, but this continuously rolls. It isn't stackable with that fourth night award benefit, but you may want to still look at it because there still may be benefit for that. And then we've got South. Let's talk about let's move here, skip there. And so Frontier, I think we've touched on this, up to 150% bonus if you're purchasing miles with them. It's their best ever purchase price. That's going to end May 30th, but wanted to make sure you were aware of that. Now, also keep in mind, their program is revenue based. So the value that you may get out of those points or miles is going to be limited. And then we have Hilton with 3 different promotions that are going on. You can get 1,000 points on each stay that you have, and that's cash or points, so that's a good thing. Your stay must be completed between June 1st and August the 15th. Registration's required. I'll, of course, have a link for that registration for you to easily get to it. Then, if you stay 3 nights at any Waldorf Astoria, LXR, or Conrad Hotel or Resort, you'll get the 4th night free. There is no end date listed on this right now, but the plan code I've got listed down there of PBB OG1 is the one to use. If you feel like you need to call in, you can do that. There's the phone number right there, and just request the LRM extra night package if you need any assistance. And then there's bonus points available at new hotels for Hilton. It's to earn 1,000 points per night at select properties, or 5,000 points per stay at select properties for 3 or more nights. And actually, it shouldn't be per night, I believe. I think it's just, actually, I think that is actually correct. I'll look that up, but I believe that is 1,000 points per night at select properties. So take a look at those if you have interest. Southwest has their Suns Out sale. Now that's going to end tonight at 11:59 Pacific Standard Time. Does require a 21-day advance purchase and up to 30% off. Just use this promo code Sunny30. IHG has a promotion where you get to pick your points. You'll either get 2K points for every 2 nights you stay, or 8,000 points for every 4 nights you stay. The qualifying room nights are between May 20th and August 31st. Once again, registration is required. I'll have a link for that. And this is only for paid nights that apply of $30 or more per night, which obviously $30 or more is not going to be hard. But before you enroll and pick your points, really take some time, if you're going to be staying at some IHG locations, of counting up the nights that you're going to be staying so that you make sure that you pick the right one for you. Don't want to leave any points on the table, so keep that in mind. Frontier has a 2-for-1 for their platinum and their diamond status flyers, which are their highest levels. And this is like a companion fare that you're able to do, but you don't have to select a designated companion anytime, which is what we normally see with Southwest. Now, in order to get to platinum and diamond status, you're talking about 50,000 points for platinum and 100,000 points for diamond. Now, as far as being able to get to there, you can get 10 status points per dollar on Frontier purchases. And if you have the Frontier Airlines World Mastercard through Barclays, you'll get 1 status point per dollar spent with Frontier. Obviously, $50,000 gets you 50,000 points. You'll have to decide what's right for you. Now, they will be having first class seats that should be coming out later this year as well. So Frontier's trying to make some moves. If you're a high flyer with them, that might be something to look at for that companion. And so before we get to the quick notes, let's make sure that we don't have anything else. Appreciate you coming in, madskills.com. Appreciate you being able to get on. And so let's now move over to some quick notes. And these are obviously just kind of things that I want to make sure to bring your attention that I thought was interesting. So in the Seattle airport, they are opening up a retro arcade for free where you don't have to pay for using it. This is Sky Gamers. They just opened it up and this is in the North Satellite Terminal. This is the area where many of the Alaska airline flights are out of. One side is a traditional bar with TVs, and the other side are the games. So these are really Atari type games, old school Miss Pac-Man, Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Donkey Kong, Asteroids, and more. I'm sure even some of us on here, definitely me, can remember playing those games. So all you're needing to do is you exchange your ID for the loaner game cartridge, and you play. And that's all there is to it. Seems to be a very interesting concept. They are supposed to do one in Atlanta next year in 2026. Now, you may have come across different arcade places. Gameway does a few of those. Now, those aren't necessarily free retro ones. I've not been in one of those, but from what I've read, they are over at JFK, Houston, LAX, Charlotte, Dallas, Fort Worth, and they're going to be coming to Midway soon. So I thought that was interesting. I haven't been to Seattle yet, but in fact, I think I actually will be going there early next year on the way to Canada. So something to keep in mind if you're good through Seattle. If you get there, let me know how it worked out. So let's talk about Cathay Pacific because they've got some lounge changes that are going on in Hong Kong. So they opened up the Bridge Lounge this week. Now, this lounge was previously permanently closed. It was open in 2013. They closed it in 2020 during the pandemic, and then they announced they were going to permanently close it in 2021. But lo and behold, it is now back up and running. They're open essentially all day, 5:30 in the morning until the last flight, which is around 12:30 a.m. Is near Gate 35 in the Hong Kong airport. It is over 27,000 square feet. It can accommodate 450 guests. The amenities are Noodle Bar, the Nook, which is Chinese light bites, the Food Hall, which is international cuisine, first class dining area, which is for first class and diamond status people with Cathay Pacific, which actually leads us to the next note. So this Bridge Lounge, as I just mentioned, just opened. The issue is that the first class section is not going to accommodate One World Emerald access, which is new for them. It is just the first class passengers and the Diamond members. One World Emerald members can still access the Pure First Lounge, but there will be additional restrictions down the line. This probably is a case where Cathay Pacific is wanting to distinguish the status and what the people have access to that are Diamond members versus One World Emerald status being able to have the same thing. But I don't have either of those statuses. If you do, let me know what your thoughts are about that. Or if you've been through Hong Kong, about the lounges over there, because it seems to be very interesting. Then we have Air New Zealand is going to be opening up a Flagship Elite Lounge. Now, the lounge is in Auckland, will open next year, and this is going to be part of an expansion of their existing lounge there. What they're going to do is they're going to create an elite section in this expansion, and it'll be there for Air New Zealand's Business Premier customers, and Air New Zealand's AirPoints Elite tier will have access. Star Alliance Gold and the AirPoints Gold will not have access. Now, the renovation is to start at the end of the year. They say 2026 late, but it's probably more likely going to be early 2027. There's also, we have KLM Flying Blue. You can redeem those points for Air Tahiti, but keep in mind, we're not talking about Air Tahiti Nui. The Air Tahiti brand has 16 turboprops that essentially do local routes there in French Polynesia. It's not the big planes that are flying all over the world. Now, most of the flights are $200 to $300, and the redemption rate appears to be 15,000 Flying Blue points. Not the best redemption. We always want to see more opportunities, but this is probably not going to be one that most people will utilize. Delta 360 members are going to be losing a benefit. Now, if you're not familiar with Delta 360, it's an invite-only option, which is similar to the American Concierge Key in the United Global Services. Currently, Delta 360 gets to pre-board with first class and those who need extra time. That will be ending on May 16th, and now they will be moved to Zone 2 to be able to board with Delta Diamond members. So if you're a 360 member, you unfortunately have kind of taken a slight step back. And so let's move over to Under Canvas and American and Hyatt, and some double ups that you might be able to do if you have an interest in a little bit of glamping at the national parks. So American now will, for a period of time, you can earn 1 mile per dollar spent at Under Canvas. Now, registration is required, and you do have to have a Hyatt account and a American Airlines account. You can obviously create them for free, not a big issue. Now, you do have to make sure that you book through Hyatt, though, to be eligible. The eligible stays are from June 15th through September 15th. Now, the double up that you might be able to do is right now, Hyatt is, you can earn 20 points per dollar spent if you register by June 10th through Hyatt, and those eligible stays are June 1st through September 7th. There was a double elite night promotion that was going on. That registration has ended, but if you did do that, then that is another opportunity to possibly double up. Those stays were going to be through June 15th with the double elite nights. And so I've listed down the locations of the national parks that they're near: Glacier, Grand Canyon, Great Smoky Mountains, North Yellowstone, and a few others. So if that's of an interest, there may be some points to definitely rack up with them. And then let's touch on the American Airlines. Now, they have new flagship suites. And for them, the flagship suites were announced about 3 years ago. Now, the first flight went on sale this week, with the first flight to be June 5th. And so what their inaugural flight's going to be is it's going to fly from Chicago to LAX. And then it's going to return back to Chicago. And then that's when it's going to start the regular flight schedule in these new flagship suites. It's going to be going from Chicago to London Heathrow. The suites are on Boeing 787-9s. They will have 51 flagship suites and 32 premium economy seats, and that's compared to when they had 30 versus 21. They'll also be putting these suites on the Airbus A321 XLR, which is the A321neo ones that many of us might have been on in these narrow body planes. This is the long distance version. And they're going to retrofit 777-300ERs. Flagship first will go away on those planes, and then they'll get a new premium economy cabin that will go with it. Now, there's really not a big improvement to this, other than the fact that the key improvement is they're going to have sliding doors, which right now only Delta really has for the Delta One compared to other. This is only American-based airlines. Of course, there's doors on Asian and Middle Eastern planes all the time. But there's going to be 4 flights that will be going out. You'll have Chicago to London Heathrow is the one that starts June 5th. You're going to have Philadelphia to London Heathrow, which will begin August the 6th. Philadelphia to Zurich will be September 3rd. And then DFW to Brisbane will start on October 26th. If you're interested in any of these, what has now become, in my mind, the most versatile point currency, Alaska miles, you can find flagship suite flights at 55,000 miles one way. There's still, I was able to see a few of them. Other people have talked about it. So if there's an interest, it's still a better number than you'll probably get through your American airline miles. I think I saw some of them at like 62, 63,000 miles. But Alaska, once again, is a chance to be able to do something if you're interested in it. And Ian, appreciate you coming in. I'm going to try and do that DFW to Brisbane next November 26th. Congratulations. I definitely will be interested in hearing your thoughts about that flight. So thanks for sharing with that. And want to say hello to madskills.com. Appreciate you stopping in. And let's go to Marriott and their virtual vacation roulette. So Marriott has established their 1 millionth U.S. hotel room. And so they're running a promotion that goes through May 26th, and where you have a chance to spin their virtual vacation wheel. I'll, of course, have a link for that vacation wheel in the description for you to easily get to. Prizes include 25,000 Marriott points, 45,000 Marriott points, as well as a 2-night stay at any of these following locations: the AC Hotel in Maui, the Aderos Scottsdale Resort, which is an autograph collection, the JW Marriott Las Vegas, which is in Summerlin, the Miami Marriott Biscayne Bay, Moxie Downtown in LA, Sheraton North New Orleans Hotel, the Westin Austin Downtown, and then the W New York in Union Square. Everyone that enters will be in a drawing to win 1 million points and a 5-day, 4-night trip for two to the Canal House of Georgetown in DC. And that is the new hotel where they've crossed over that 1 millionth room. So might as well jump in. Some people I've seen on some blogs that people have been able to get kind of consolation prizes of beverage discounts, as well as some food and beverage credits at different Marriott establishments. So jump in it, to make sure to click on the link, see if you can spin something good on that roulette wheel. Let's go move on to bidding AAdvantage miles for a 787 flight simulator experience. If you've ever wanted to be a pilot, this seems like a very interesting one, but it's going to cost you a lot of miles to be able to do this. So with this promotion that's going on, or basically an auction, you're going to be able to use your AAdvantage miles for a flight simulator experience. And this is going to be for a 4-hour block on their 787 flight simulator that their pilots use over in Dallas at their Skyview campus. Now, you do, fortunately or unfortunately, whatever you want to view it, you do have to be an American AAdvantage Mastercard holder, though. So it's not just being a member, you have to be a card holder as well. Now, the bidding is going to end on May 18th, so there's still time for that. The winner and a guest will have the following. You'll get a 2-night stay at the Thompson Dallas Hotel, which is Hyatt, July 10th through 12th. You'll get a $100 food and beverage credit to use at the Thompson. You'll get transportation to and from the hotel and their campus at Skyview. And then you get the 4-hour session on the 787 simulator from 1 to 5 p.m. their local time. Now, for the person that wins, you have to be 18 or older, and you have to be a World of Hyatt member. So you just need to do that by June 26th. So once again, doesn't cost you anything, not a big deal, just them cross-promoting. And the guests must be 12 or older. So it can be a great experience whether you're young at heart or you're young altogether. It's going to cost you a bunch, though, because the last bid I saw this morning was 700,000 AAdvantage airline miles. That is a load. But there's not another experience that I've ever seen for something like this. So if you've got the points and you really are that interested in it, this may be your option. I'll make sure to put a link for that once again for everybody to be able to look at. And then I saw that the J.D. Power 2025 Airline Satisfaction Survey results that came out. And I must admit, I was not that surprised by the results, but I'm curious of what you all thoughts are, because many of you all do fly more than I do. So for first, and this is American, US-based situation. So first in business class, JetBlue scored highest as far as airline satisfaction. Delta was number 2, Alaska was number 3. For premium economy, Delta was number 1, JetBlue was 2, Alaska was 3. In economy, Southwest was number 1, JetBlue 2, and then Delta 3. Now, the survey is based on, they got over 10,000 responses, and it was done for a year from March of 24 to March of 2025. And the people that did the survey, for them to qualify, had to have completed their travel within a month of their completing the survey, of course, to make sure that they had fresh thoughts and knew what was going on. So I'm curious of what you all's thoughts are. Not surprised about, I've not had the opportunity to fly JetBlue, but I never hear anything negative about them, especially Mint and premium economy. Delta, obviously, is normally my preferred airline to fly, and I normally never hear a negative thing about Alaska. So, but once again, be definitely curious to hear you all's thoughts for those, once again, as a person that doesn't fly a whole lot. And I see that Manskill said, I'm a card holder, love to get to that simulator. However, I'll just use the MS simulator. And there's nothing wrong. That MS simulator is pretty much seemingly like it's the real thing itself. So nothing wrong with that. And you get to save your points. So thanks for sharing that. So let's move on to new hotel openings. Now, normally I try to have this as just something to kind of spark us as points and miles enthusiasts of maybe some new place we might want to go. But I do throw a couple in here every now and again of ones that may not be for points, but they're just seemingly so unique that you save your money in other ways with our points and miles to be able to splurge on something else. So I've got 3 to talk about today. So the first one is the Rosewood Amsterdam, and that opened up on May 1st. Now it's only 134 rooms, and it is in the former Palace of Justice, which was built in 1665, and it was the Palace of Justice for nearly 200 years. It's in the city's historical canal district. Entry-level rooms are 377 square feet. Suites are 570 square feet. And as far as the amenities, they've got all-day dining with hyper-seasonal dishes. They've got a signature bar, a lobby lounge, as well as a spa with a 12-meter indoor pool, jacuzzi, sauna, steam room. The thought is that this may be one of the nicest hotels in Amsterdam. Amsterdam is still not a place I've been to yet, so I'd be curious of what we would be ranking it against. But it's starting at over 700 euros. So it's not a low-priced hotel by any means, but that is the new one out there. Then we have the Regis to the JD Marriott, back to the Regis, Mauritius. I may not be having that correctly. So this is an odd thing. We obviously know that you get these hotels that rebrand based upon either they've leveled up their game and they move to the next brand level, or they can't maintain and they drop down. Well, this hotel has been schizophrenic. So 2012, it opened up as a St. Regis. 2021, just a short time ago, it was downgraded down to a JW Marriott. And now in 2025, it's back up to a St. Regis. The problem is, if you were even trying to look at this, is there's really no information of what they've done to elevate it back to a St. Regis. So if you were looking at potentially going to this hotel there, you may want to make sure to see some reviews, see what's going on, because that one's a bit odd to me for it getting back to St. Regis with no information of how they did it. Then you have the Andaz Miami Beach, and this used to be the Confidante Beach Miami Hotel, which was under the Unbound collection for Hyatt. Now it's become the Andaz Miami Beach. Now this has been 3 years in the making, and it basically took off once the property was sold back 3 years ago, and they underwent a $60 million renovation. Couple of things that I've seen talked about is checking in with a ocean view look, which is something I would think you would be seeing more in the Caribbean. So I'm really interested in what that might look like. A new pool area with 2 pools, a spa, and then Jose Andres' group is kind of handling the whole cuisine setup for over there. Now, when there was the Confidante, it was 339 rooms. They reduced it down to 287, 223 regular rooms, and 64 suites. Now, this is going to be a category 6. So the cash price range is between $500 and $800, give or take, plus. And then for category 6, you're looking at anywhere from 21,000 during the low time up to 29,000 in high time. So Miami Beach, hot place to go. That may be something that you might want to look at. So that's what we've got for the hotels. And want to say hello to John. Welcome back from Iceland, my man. Appreciate you having back. Already saw the video of you walking us through the last American Express credit card you got. So thanks for stopping in after your weary travel. What's up, Matt? Matt obviously's got his tidbits. Just did one, I believe, on the business cards with transfer, to be able to do transfers on, which I haven't been able to see yet, but very interesting. Not necessarily an area that you see a lot talked about on. So make sure to check him out on that. Would be here early, but had to do a rumor video. Got to handle that business. No problem with that, Matt. And of course, to you too, Sean. Appreciate it. So let's talk about the Flying Blue promo rewards. As you know, this is a monthly thing that comes up from KLM, Air France, Flying Blue. And I mentioned that is because you do have that 25% transfer bonus that is currently going on with Chase. So let's take a look at what's there, because this has been a bit up and down. So as we talked about, this is a regular promotion offering discounted redemptions for flights to Europe. Now, for this, bookings must be made by May 31st, end of the month, and it's valid for travel until October 31st. These are going to be ranging in pricing for economy at 18,750 points. Business can go, it's going to start at 45,000. So for the long haul from North America, we've got Air France economy to Europe from Atlanta, Minneapolis, Phoenix, and Miami. KLM economy is going to be available to Europe for Boston, Houston, San Francisco, Salt Lake City, and then Montreal. The international deals is not as many as we normally see from this. And also we had limited numbers here for this as well. You can kind of make your own thought of what may be the cause of this. So as far as the international departures, you got KLM economy from Singapore, Air France economy from Hong Kong, and then Air France business from St. Martin and Abidjan. And then the short to medium haul, which is the ones where you're staying within Europe, you're looking at KLM economy from Amsterdam, Belgrade, Helsinki, and Dansk, and then Air France economy between Paris, Malta, Mykonos, Olbio, Marrakesh, Nantes, and Lyon. Main thing to keep in mind with this is that the taxes and fees are not discounted on these tickets, so you're looking at $200 to $300. And as we always talk about, look, if you're interested in these, look for the bonuses and the points transfers, and we do have one at this point. So if interested, of course, I'll have a link for this for the landing page on the Flying Blue site for you to really kind of delve in what's really going to be there and what may fit for you. And then we have the Lufthansa mileage bargains, which is once again another monthly one that we look at. This includes all many of the airlines that are kind of under their group. Once again, bookings must be made between by May 31st. This one is obviously a little bit different as far as how tight it is, between August 15th and September 30th. Now, this one, as far as being schizophrenic, this definitely was. If you remember, 2 months ago, we ended up having a situation where we had kind of bottomed out on how many offers that we had. Then last month, it spiked in a very good way. Now, unfortunately, we're going to go backwards again. So there are 224 flights included from the US to Europe. This is down from 475 from last month. And so for business class, unfortunately, we have no options for business class. And we had 213 flights last month. Premium economy, we have 6 offerings. That's down from a whopping 116. Now, these is for a 40,000 miles round trip, and that would be from Boston to Europe, and that would end up being on one of their, so jumped over. So that's the only one we've got for that, flying Austrian. The economy, we do have an increase in those. We are at 218 different options. That's up from 146. And this is 30,000 miles round trip from Atlanta, Boston, Miami, JFK, Newark, Raleigh, Durham, and as well as Dulles. You can be able to fly Austrian, Swiss, or Lufthansa for that 30,000 miles round trip. So if these do kind of fit in for that time frame, these can be some great ones. But of course, there's always drawbacks. Flights cannot be canceled or for a refund. So you're all in for this. Taxes and fees can be very expensive on these flights, and there's not a way to bring that down. You also don't have many options as far as having these miles. So Barclays, Lufthansa Miles and More card, it's an $89 annual fee, 50,000 miles with 3,000 in spend. Obviously, if you were taking an economy flight, that would be enough to take care of the whole thing. So, but I wanted to just bring that to your attention for the month. And then we have Hyatt. Now, we heard about Hyatt acquiring standard hotels. We hadn't heard anything for a bit of time on this, and because they just acquired it in 2024. But we did get a really large load of information to see about these hotels. So let me run through a few things with you. So what has already been added is the Manor. Now this is a single hotel. It is moved into the Unbound collection, and it's in New York City in the Soho area, and it's been open for less than a year. They just built it before Hyatt ended up acquiring it, I believe. Now, as far as what this is viewed as, I'm not a person that stayed at the standard, so I'm definitely trying to look at comparison. So this is considered to be the grown-up sibling to the standard. And then the standard, what ended up happening yesterday, they've added the standard in Ibiza and Brussels. And for those that don't know what the standard is, it's a lifestyle brand with a long history of different famous people and rock stars and actresses and actors being ones that have attended or stayed at the standard in different places, especially in New York. May 14th, the standard London, Highline, and East Village will come online for Hyatt. May 21st, the standard Bangkok, Hua Hin, Maldives, Singapore will be there, as well as the standard X for Bangkok, Phra Hartit, and Melbourne. The standard X is considered the more affordable brand to the standard and will be actually set more in neighborhoods, which is different from where the standard is normally located, and considered more of a rebellious younger sibling from what I've read. And then opening soon, the standard Pattaya will be something that'll be coming online. Now, we're missing a few that come from this brand. There's bunkhouse hotels. Now, I've heard of them, but never seen one. They are mainly based here in the United States, in California, Kentucky, Texas, and Mexico. These hotels go from around 14 rooms to 120 rooms, and they can range from motel conversions, which you will see in, I think, in Austin, Texas, and then just regular boutique hotels. They're not added on yet to Hyatt. We don't know necessarily when that's going to happen either. Then you've got the standard spa at Miami Beach, as well as the Perry Hotel is not also on there. The Perry Hotel is considered an approachable and family-style brand in Asia. So what about the benefits? So we're going to see some of the same benefits we would see on any of the other Hyatt hotels. You'll get 5 base points per dollar at participating standard and standard X hotels. You'll get the 4 bonus points per dollar when using one of the Hyatt credit cards to pay this, and that's equal to the other Hyatt hotels. You will earn towards elite status as well as Hyatt milestone rewards as well. The standard X, and the bunkhouse hotels will all be new Hyatt brands to use towards the Explorer program. And if you're not as familiar with the Explorer program with Hyatt, that's basically for every brand you stay at, you get essentially a mark. And once you get 5, you end up getting a certificate. And this is not so many that you got to do in a year. It's over a lifetime of wherever you stay. I just got my very first one while I was in Australia for a category 1 through 4 that I still need to use. So these are all good. That's all very good information that we're seeing. Now, as far as the categories, they're kind of all over the place. So category 2 will be the standard X Bangkok Phra Hartit. Now, category 2, 6,500, 8,000, and then 9,500 miles in high season. Category 3 is the standard Hua Hin, Pattaya, and the standard X Melbourne, 9,000, 12,000, and 15,000 points. Category 3 is the standard Bangkok and Brussels at 12,000, 15,000, and 18,000 Hyatt points. Category 5 is going to be the standard in Singapore, 17,000, 20,000, and 23,000. Then category 6 will be the standard in East Village, Highline, Ibiza, London, and the Maldives, 21,000, 25,000, and 29,000. The Manor, as a standalone only hotel, will be a category 8, 35,000, 40,000, and 45,000 points. So definitely going up for those. But I think that it's very good and interesting for that. But that's the things that we're looking at. So a couple things to kind of keep in mind. Make sure if you're looking at any of these Marriott, United, different type of credit cards, I've done recent videos on both of those within the last few weeks, especially with the overhaul that United did. So make sure to check that. I'll have that in the links. I will have videos coming up, especially related to the Mesa card. I ended up getting that card and kind of walking through what I've seen since I've had it. And make sure if you found any of this information beneficial and are not subscribed, please consider subscribing. Always appreciate it. Doesn't cost you anything. And also, if you have any interest of supporting the channel even beyond that, which I'm very appreciative of any of likes and subscribes and shares, feel free to join the advisory board membership. I make sure I do a live stream every week just for the members on that to go over any information and things that I've come up with, any things that I've kind of picked up and learned about, or my own travel as well. And then, of course, to answer any questions or anything, there'll be a join link there as well in the description. So anything that anybody's got that we need to touch on, appreciate it. Brian, thank you so much. Really appreciate you being a subscriber. Cannot thank you enough for your support. And just want to make sure if anybody's got anything that we need to touch on before we go. But if not, I cannot thank you all enough for spending your time with me and going over this. And everybody make sure to take care of yourselves, and I will talk with you all soon. Thank you so much.